Hello everyone, this is warm caramel apple cake and I'm going to show you how to make this by using a box cake mix. You ready? Let's get started. First, what you're going to need for your ingredients are some light brown sugar, some heavy whipping cream, a box of yellow cake mix, a stick of salted butter, some eggs, vegetable oil, some apples, cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg, and some chopped pecans. Alrighty, let's get started. Now the ingredients to put together our batter is really simple. We're going to be using, of course, our yellow box cake mix, and to that we're going to be adding 1 1/4 cup of water, and I'm just using regular tap water, and you want to have that actually kind of lukewarm of our water. Then to that we're going to add in some oil. We're going to use our vegetable oil, and then we're also going to add in our eggs. Now our eggs are at room temperature, and we're going to add in 3 eggs. And I like to turn on my mixer before I add my eggs, and you want to add your eggs in slowly, one at a time. Now if you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you're a returner, welcome back. My name is Devon, and this is my channel, Cooking for the Family. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I invite you to go on and hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, hey, don't forget to show it some love and give it a thumbs up. Now once we have our batter and we've mixed it, next we're going to add in our little extra ingredients. We're going to be adding in some cinnamon, and our cinnamon, we're going to be using just 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now to that cinnamon, because we want to have this nice fall delicious flavor with our cake batter, so to that we're going to add some nutmeg. And our nutmeg, we're just going to use just a pinch of nutmeg. And I just like to put a little bit of nutmeg in the palm of my hand and go on and dust it right there into your batter. Next, we're adding in our allspice. Our allspice is that little something extra that really feels like fall. It really just feels so seasonal and delicious. And so just a little pinch of allspice that we're adding. Now, once you've added your spices, you go on and mix your cake mix. And I like to use my spatula there and go on and give your cake mix a nice mixing. Now, those spices, the nutmeg and the allspice, can sometimes tend to clump up a little bit. And so just use the back of your spatula, just like I'm doing there, and just press those little clumps that you may come across against the side of your mixing bowl. Now once we've done that, we're going to prepare our apples for our warm apple caramel cake. And so what you're going to do is you're going to peel and core 2 apples, and these are 2 medium-sized apples. Now you can use either Golden Delicious or either Granny Smith. Either one of those apples works great in this recipe. And for those not familiar with the term coring, if you're not familiar with what that term is, and that's just basically taking out that middle core of your apple. And so once you've peeled your apple, we're going to take out that middle core. And I usually just, actually I'm using a paring knife, and since it's so nimble, I just kind of cut around that core when I'm slicing my apples. Now when you're slicing your apples for this recipe, you want to make sure that you're not slicing them too thick. You don't want them too thick, because you want the apples to be able to bake up and get nice and soft when we're baking up our cake. And so you want to cut them not too thin either, but maybe about, if you put say 2 nickels together, about that thickness, okay? And so you're just going to go in and slice them just like that, and I'm going to slice them right into my bowl. Now once I have my apple sliced, we're going to work on our caramel sauce. Our caramel sauce is going to be 1 stick of that nice salted butter, and I'm using 1 stick of salted butter, which is also the equivalent of 1/2 cup. Now in the description box below where it says show more, I'm going to have a list of the ingredients you need to put this cake together, but in this video I'm going to show you how those ingredients come together to make such a delicious cake. And so once I've done that, I put in my light brown sugar, and you add your light brown sugar right to your pan. Now I have my flame on low, and the reason why I have the flame on low right now is because I want to go on and blend in that brown sugar and that butter together. We are going to nice and gently blend in that brown sugar and that butter, incorporate those 2 together. And this is an important step because the caramel sauce is really just that wonderful thing that sets this cake apart. And so you want to make sure your caramel sauce, you've got that right. So most importantly, You want to take your time with it. If you have any lumps or clumps that are in your brown sugar, just use the back of your spoon and press and just get all of those out. You're smoothing out and blending and incorporating that brown sugar and that butter all together. Once we kind of get to this step, I go on and I raise my flame on my skillet to a medium. Okay, so go on and raise your flame to a medium when it's about like this. We really want that brown sugar to really just melt, and that's what we're going to be doing right here. Now, once your brown sugar has become more smooth and soft and it's not as grainy, and you're also going to have around the sides, around the edge of your pan, you'll have it where it's bubbling a bit. That's exactly what you're looking for in that next phase of making your nice caramel sauce. And then just go ahead and take your spoon and mix it around. Then you want to leave it alone and let it boil for come to a nice boil for about 3 minutes, just like it's doing here. This is what you're looking for. And that process is only going to take about 3 minutes. Once that's boiled for about 3 minutes, I use my spoon and I mix it around, and then I add in my heavy cream. That was 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream. When you add your heavy whipping cream, do not stop mixing. Keep mixing. Keep that spoon moving. Move it all around your pan, around the sides and the centers. You want to incorporate that heavy cream just like I'm doing there. You're going to use the back of the spoon and the sides of your spoon and keep mixing until you don't see any more of the white parts, no more of that white heavy cream, that it is totally incorporated with the brown sugar and the butter, just like I did there. And as I'm doing this with my spoon, I don't feel any more of those granules, any of those brown sugar granules. I'm not feeling that anymore. My sauce is nice and smooth and creamy, and that's exactly what you want. When we've done this, our caramel sauce is all done. Next, we're going to prepare our pan. Now, this is a 9 by 13 pan, and I like to use a Pyrex pan. This is nice clear glass pan, and I'm using 1 tablespoon of softened butter and go all around the sides and in the corner. Make sure you get all up the sides, the bottom, and in the corner. And this is just the 1 tablespoon of nice soft butter. I did a quick wash to get that butter off my hands, and now we're going to add in our caramel sauce right to our buttered dish. And make sure you get all that delicious caramel sauce right into our dish, just like that. And you also want to be mindful that you want to make sure that your sauce gets in all 4 corners of your pan and around all the edges of your pan, okay? And so once we've done that, we're going to add in our pecans. Now the chopped pecans are optional, but I really like to add them to this dish. But again, the chopped pecans are totally optional. And we are putting in 1/2 cup of those chopped pecans. Now, once we have our pecans, we have them all nice and spread out from corner to corner. You want to add in your sliced apples. Now, the sliced apples, I just kind of put mine down and just kind of tuck them in any spots that are open, especially spots that don't have any of the pecans already there. You can make a pattern if you like, but for me, I just go on and just kind of put them down just like that. Now, once you've placed all your apples in your dish, we're going to add our cake mix batter to this. Now, while I'm doing this, I do have my oven preheating on 350 degrees. Now, before you add your cake mix, make sure that you do a nice stir, just in case any of your spices have tried to settle. So just do a nice stir of your cake mix batter before you add them to your apples and the pecans and the caramel. And you're going to use all of your batter. Now your batter will be on the thin side, okay? So your batter will be a little bit on the thin side because we use that little extra water. Also with the batter, you want to make sure that you're following the directions. 1 1/4 cups of water, the 1/3 a cup of oil, and the 3 eggs. And that may be a little different than what's on the back of the cake mix box that you're using, okay? So just be sure to follow those directions. I give it a little jiggle, and now I'm putting it in our 350-degree oven. So our cake has baked for 40 minutes at 350 degrees. And let's see, it is nice and brown. It looks so good. And it is still warm. It is still actually very, very warm. It's only been about 5 minutes that I let it come out of the oven. And now I'm going to use my butter knife and go around the sides. This is very important because this is an upside down cake. And so we need to really loosen up those sides. And I just kind of pick up the sides a little bit and go all around. Now, when you're doing this, be mindful not to cut into the cake at all, okay? So just kind of be mindful not to cut into the cake and just really go all around the sides really good. And I like to do that a few times just to make sure that I'm really loosening up the cake from the edges, because we're going to be flipping over this, because remember, this is that warm upside down caramel apple cake, and we're going to go on and flip this over. Now, what I am using to flip over my cake, I'm going to be using a cookie sheet and some parchment paper, just like that. My cookie sheet and my old trusty cookie sheet that I've had for years, we're going to use that, and I've lined it with some parchment paper. Now, the secret to flipping the cake like I did is that you want to use a flat surface that you're flipping the cake onto, and you want to do it in one swift move without any hesitation. Now, I let the cake sit just like that for a few moments to let that caramel finish dripping down. And then I go on and I lift it because it's still warm. So I go on and lift it, and this is what our cake is looking like. You see the pecans, you see those pieces, those slices of apples that we have there. The caramel has dripped down the sides a bit. Oh my gosh, we did a really good job on our caramel apple upside down cake. It is looking phenomenal, and it smells so good in this kitchen. Well, let's go on and slice into our cake and serve us up some. This cake is slicing so nicely, and I could just tell it is just so super moist, and it looks so good. Well, let's see what the inside of our cake is looking like. Wow. Wow, will you look at that? The caramel, the pecans. I see some apple right there on top. It's just, get over there with your friends, just like that. We have got to give this a try. Where is my fork? Okay. Let's go on and cut into this cake. And you know this first bite is for you. There's your bite right there. Oh yes, now let me give it a try. Oh my goodness, this is so yummy. Well, I hope you give this recipe a try. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what are you waiting for? Go on and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to show it some love and give this video a thumbs up. And click share and share this video with a friend or family. Well, that is it for me today, guys. And remember, it is always good when Devon is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.